Back. So, I mean, those two music videos by Kwesi Arthur. I mean, it's been a long time I saw Kwesi Arthur. I mean, he's been away for some time and I don't know where he is, but hey, it will be good to see you. I mean, around one of these days, and so far, so have a conversation. I had Fefenefe and Angelique Kidjo. I mean, the legendary Angelique Kidjo with this, what she calls Sunlight to My Soul. And actually, that was some good sunlight there to our soul. But joining me in studio, we'll touch on this new, music videos briefly before we go for a quick commercial break. And then also I'll introduce my guest too. So let me introduce my guest too. I have in studio right now, Frankie 5. I mean, the last time when I mentioned his government name, it was the like this, like that to me. But yeah, how you doing, Frankie?
I'm cool, we're cool. What's up?
I'm doing very, very fine. I mean, how is life going?
I know about Charlie. You're always looking fly, Charlie.
Thank you. You're also looking very, very smart. I mean, it's beautiful that when you came in, shout outs to our makeup artist Pearl. She was like, "Oh, I like you." I'm like, "Hey. All right." Yeah, I'm jealous small, but yeah, I had to. But I hope everything is going on well in the creative space.
Nice and easy.
I think recently people have been having some creative spaces, very with the boss herself, Jan Kroma. So I like the conversations that are going on. I feel like it's very progressive.
Yes.
And it's showing that we have somewhere to get to.
Great.
So that's very, very good. And then also joining us all the way from Nigeria. I mean, they play a big part when it comes to the music industry, and every conversation that we are having, I feel like they have a lot to contribute to it. And we are talking about Tope Salami. How are you doing, Tope?
I'm very well, my brother.
Good
evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's a pleasure speaking from Lagos, Nigeria.
Yeah, and I like the way you are. See, Frankie, see him. He's repping Nigeria like boldly. You know, like Nigeria they carry last, eh?
Branding.
I mean, it's good to represent Nigeria in everything that you do. But yeah, Frankie, anything that you have to say about these two music videos that we just experienced or watched, Kwesi Arthur and Angelique Kidjo? For me, Angelique Kidjo was just, man.
I love how the legendary Angelique Kidjo, it's interspacing with our new generation, our Gen Z. Look what he did with Stone. And this one is with what's the name? How has Kwesi Arthur been? Is he still in Ghana?
I don't know. I think he's in the US. You know, sometimes when they go off the radar, they just jackpot for some time.
It's missing in the space all of a sudden.
Yeah, I really don't know, because he has also been he has not put out music in a long time.
Yeah.
So I feel like this was like one of the new music he has to put out there. And then he's also like, I don't know, maybe he's...
When I see these things, I get excited because Africa, we are one continent.
Yeah.
We are one people.
Yeah.
So when you see a country from the West and a country from the South blend talents together, it shows how powerful we are as Africans.
Yeah.
So let's begin to explore more of these things.
Yeah.
Let's see more of a Kenya, Nigeria. Let's see more of an Ivory Coast, a francophone with an anglophone coming together to create magic.
That'll be good.
And let's begin to make Africa great, because now the conversation is around us.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. Music.
We are leading.
We are leading music in the world now.
Nigerians are the ones leading. How does it feel to be a Nigerian? Where you guys are leading the charge when it comes to this music space?
Hey,
Naija. Yeah, that's it. Nigeria.
It's okay.
You're on Ghana TV and you are.
Yeah, you're on Ghana TV and I'll do Nigeria, my brother.
But we are one. We are one. Nigeria, Ghana. I want to live in a space. I want to live at a time where everybody would actually know that we are one. One indefeasible one.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take from what had been said earlier, and that has been my own model of operation.
Yeah.
I want to wake up. I want to see a Tanzanian, doing something with a Ghanaian.
Yeah.
This is our time.
Yeah.
Our time would never go into extinction, because we've waited so long, to get to this point. Africa is one, and Africa must stay as one.
All right. Thank you very much, Tope.
The Nigerian music is as important as the music in Ghana. I mean, I've done a bit of work in Ghana, physically in Ghana, and I've done a bit of work, virtually in Ghana. I've got clients in Ghana, in the Ghanaian music space.
Oh, that's good.
And I usually tell them we are one.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. All right, thank you very much, Tope. We'll go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be zooming straight into our conversation for today. We are talking about the copyright issues. What do you need to know? I mean, did you know that if you do something, you don't protect it, you lose the rights to it? Did you know that? We'll have all this and more right here on the show for you. So we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we have a show for you. Don't go anywhere. Yes, you're welcome back to the chat right here on the ChannelOne TV. Today promises to be very, very exciting because I am super, super, super excited. Frankie is here. Super excited to see him. I have Tope all the way from Nigeria on Zoom. And our final guest joining us today is Kofi, the Beat Menace. How you doing, bro? Hey.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a minute.
I'm back home.
Yeah, you're back home. So recently, I was told you were jacked by all over the place, but it's good to have you back home.
Oh, I'm following Frank.
You're following Frank.
I want to be like him.
You want to be like him. He need to be like Frank. But hey, welcome, gentlemen. Today we are talking about the copyright issues or the copyright laws in Ghana, and it will interest you to know that most people do not know that there are laws that are in Ghana to protect their creative works. Now, Frank, if I'll come to you, I mean, because you've been putting out a few things recently and all of that, and I want to know what was the brain or the motivation behind now packaging this whole copyright creative thing on social media to actually educate people? What inspired or motivated you to go that direction?
Okay, so greetings to your viewers this evening, and pleasure to be here with my big man, Kofi. So my boss, Madam Jankumo Ekufuado, I remember last year, had a conversation with the French embassy, and that's what has resulted in where we are today. I recall the request was, to seek support from the French government in areas of music for our sector, so we can be able to professionalize the space and also expand it. So these two resulted in their response, and quickly where we had to look at where the conversation had gotten to in areas of music publishing. So we noticed per statistics that we checked, people do not really have in-depth knowledge when it comes to copyrights on how to protect the things that they create and they put out there. So they just get the inspiration, go into the studio, and then they come back and put the stuff out there. Sometimes on your WhatsApp, he's going to the studio to record, then he starts sharing on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
How? So we noticed that there's some sort of gap in that field. So the support that came from the French embassy and the French government was to train our music practitioners, music entrepreneurs, artists managers, let everybody get the basic knowledge in copyrights and IP laws, and also
what are IP laws?
Intellectual property laws, and also how to protect the simple things that they create, so that it will span generations 70 years after they are dead and gone. Their children and children's children will continue to enjoy the things that they protected from today.
All right. Now, basic question. What is copyright? Let's start from there. What is copyright in the first place?
To the average person, copyright is when you are able to clothe or fence any property that God has given you, and you want the world to know, you want to put it out.
Okay.
It could be your voice, it could be painting, it could be fashion.
Your voice?
Yes, even your voice, how you talk, you can actually protect it.
Are you serious?
Have you heard of kill a cat, blood, kill a cat?
Yeah.
That's somebody's voice. Did you hear the legal issues that were going on?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was Obrafour and Drake. Was it Drake? Yeah, Drake.
And Manche.
Yeah, and Manche.
You get it. So, just that, that's somebody's voice.
Yeah.
It's not music. Kill a cat, blood, kill a cat. You've heard of dee da da dee dee dee.
Yeah.
Dee 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 da da dee da.
Yeah.
Rexoma.
Yeah.
It was in court.
Yeah.
Because a certain company used just that.
Yeah.
Dee da da dee dee dee. That's somebody's creation.
Yeah.
And about 300,000 cedis was rewarded to Rexoma. Cool job.
Charlie, what can I do with my voice?
Cool job. So you can do a lot.
Yeah.
So long as when you get the inspiration, the moment you think about creation, you think about protection. So when you get the inspiration, before you hit that studio, think about who is in that studio hearing what I'm going to be doing. Because anybody can take it out. And it's no more yours. The moment it comes out. Because I've heard a lot of young people come out and say, oh, but this guy, then me, they did a studio. So you hear the beat, you know, need to go ride on another beat and create the song be my own. You know, be your own.
You've not protected it
you
yet.
not protect them.
Oh. But, Tope, why is it important to, as a creative, to be thinking about copyright? Because, I mean, somebody say, me, I'm just looking at making money. You know, I want to chop. So can you just share with us from, I mean, where you are sitting as a lawyer, right? And then also somebody also in the creative space and dealing with the creatives. Why is it important for a creative or a creator to protect or think about copyright in the first place?
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. There are various reasons why you as a creative, must protect your work. Yeah. And when it comes to protection, there are two principles.
Okay.
The principle of the first to make it.
The first to make it.
The first to make that particular work. You know, it's an idea. You are converting the idea into a finished product. Yeah.
Yeah.
The second principle would be, after you've given birth to the idea, and the idea has also given birth to, a proper work, you register it. Both. These are what, the courts usually use. But putting that aside, you need to register your work because of your legacy.
Your
legacy is very important.
Okay.
Yeah, legacy is very important. Over time, we've had creatives. And when I say creatives, I'm not talking about musicians alone. I'm not talking about filmmakers alone. I'm talking about anything that has to do with, creation or creativity.
Okay.
One, we've had people that, they did amazingly well, but they never protected it. And what happened? Their legacy went down the drain. Yeah, it's gone. Yeah. If in Nigeria you are hearing of Fela, or you are hearing of the band, you can only hear of them right now because they protected their creativity, they protected their creation, which would in return give them a proper, legacy. Imagine Bob Marley, imagine Fela, imagine they did not protect their composition or creation at that time. That means their legacy would have gone. But the fact that their music or their songs are still out, we are sampling, we are doing this, it is still making that legacy, it is still making it very important and relatable. So for your legacy, that's one. The other one has to do with sustainability.
Sustainability, okay.
So, yeah, sustainability. When I say sustainability, I mean sustainability in terms of money, sustainability in terms of development and growth.
Okay.
Yes, I know we have creatives that will just say, I just want to make my money and just push out, yeah? I tell people, particularly my music producers, who in most cases are always at the receiving end, of everything. Because at the end of the day, the artist will be the one that will be in the video. But what happens to the music producer that has given you that hit? You probably get to the airport, or you're driving in your car, even within your country, and people are not aware that this marvelous record came from your own creation. Now, I usually tell them, yes, you can make money, but the kind of money you want to make, I want it to be a sustainable one. I don't want it to be a kind of income, a kind of revenue, a kind of money that, you will make, and after 5-10 years, you are out of that ladder. It's sad that most of our legends, or some of our legends in Africa, when they have little ailments, or when they are sick, or when they have hospital emergencies, it saddens my heart, yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing people coming out to say, oh, this person doesn't have money, oh, trying to do GoFund for them. I'm not saying it is not good to help.
Yeah.
But most of these people, by the time you check their catalog, you would see they have nothing less than 300 songs released. The question is, what decision have you made?
Yeah.
You know, to actually cater for these 300 songs.
Good.
The
thank you that
answer
you're
is
making. Yeah.
none.
All right. Thank you that you're making such a powerful point. But let me come in studio now, Kofi. You're a music producer. You are a music video director. You are neck deep in the creative space. I think the only thing that you are not yet is like an artist. Like, have you produced? Have you sung?
He's been an artist in the past.
Wow.
This is an ex-rapper.
No, he is
a hip hop.
He's also an artist. He must be an artist.
Yeah.
Regardless, he must be an artist.
All right. Now, I want to know, when it comes to copyright, who are the people in the chain that also hold some rights to the creative work? I'm asking this because mostly you hear that, oh, the producer is saying, oh, it is my beat. Then I'm like, but why is the artist not even saying anything? Yeah. But the producer is the one talking.
Okay, first and foremost, I think we need to make a distinction between the role of a producer as used in our space.
Yeah.
Music production does not necessarily mean you made a beat. The person who directs the process, traditionally, like in classical music or whatnot, the person who's responsible for the creation of the work, who inspires the idea, who directs the various persons on what exactly to do to make the track, become what it's supposed to be, is a record producer. So technically, the beat maker is a performer because they're using the keyboard and the mouse, or they're actually playing instruments, but it's performance.
Yeah.
They are also a composer because they are composing the music and they are producing as well. And in most cases, they actually arrange.
Oh.
So by law, they should own 50% of the composition, at the very least. In some cases, even 60%, because for certain types of music, the arrangement is as critical as the production itself, like classical music, for instance. So we need to make that distinction. So if I sit down with my laptop here, I'm putting together some Afro beats for that next hot artist who is emerging, or that established artist, I am composing music, I am performing the music by creating the instrumentation, I am producing, and I am arranging.
Wow. So
That's a lot.
let me not derail the conversation, but allow me to derail a bit. Right. So why then, or how then, do we relegate these producers to the background and the artist is the only one that's projected?
Well, I think it's habits fueled by ignorance for the most part. Because I know a lot of people actually gravitate towards songs because of how catchy the production is.
Yeah.
If I hear a beat right now, if I'm in a taxi, if I'm in an Uber, or I'm driving and I'm tuned to ChannelOne, right? And I hear something captivating, one of two things would definitely happen. If I don't know who the artist is, I don't know the artist's name, I don't know whether they're even Ghanaian or not, I'll try to hum the beat, or I'll try to sing the chorus.
Yeah.
You understand? So I think it's a great disservice to a lot of producers because I do not think a lot of these artists even sound good without the music in the background. Right. No one is selling acapellas like that, unless you are like the SDA, because those guys are phenomenal because they can even use their voices as instruments.
They don't need instruments.
All right,
exactly.
Now let's circle it back. So now can you tell me the people who, so now you've made it known that the producer should by law own at least 50% of the work.
Yes.
So now the producer owns part of the work.
Yes.
Now the artist also owns part of the work.
Yes. The person who, the artist may or may not own certain rights.
Okay.
Because the fact that you sang or rapped on a song doesn't necessarily mean you wrote the lyrics. He might write the lyrics for us. It means the composition rights of the song would be split between him and myself.
So the songwriter is also in there.
Yes.
So now we have the producer.
Yes.
We have the songwriter.
Or the composer.
Or
the lyricist.
Yeah.
Then you have the performers. There's a dedicated right 4 performers. The performer, in this case the artist, may or may not be the person who wrote the lyrics. Okay, so we need to compartmentalize all of these, and we need to understand the associated rights that are typically born or owned by various practitioners or contributors to a song.
Wow. Now, Frankie.
Yeah. I think I want to throw in a point. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Tope. But before you do that, Tope, hold up. Before you do that, yeah, we have some cocktails in studio. So from Eden Bar, non-alcoholic cocktails. Sorry, Tope, we'll have to send it. Should we send it via flight or bus?
Don't
or
worry.
Send it to your WhatsApp.
I'll be in Accra very soon.
Super. That's nice. We'll have you in studio. We'll have you in studio so you get to enjoy.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead with your point.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I would, in as much as I would like to agree to, what had just been said with regards, the components of, people or the contributors to, a particular composition.
Yeah.
In some cases, we have some, exception. Yeah. I usually advise that in some cases, for the writers, we can contract them as an independent contractor.
Yeah.
And we pay off.
Yeah.
The reason why it's always good to pay off in some cases is to reduce the possibility of some frivolous technicalities.
Yeah.
So imagine a song that has like 3 writers.
Yeah.
And the artist is still there. The label of the artist is there.
Yeah.
The producer is there.
Yeah.
If you are now so unlucky, maybe the producer has also brought in another producer who has also brought in some instrumentalists.
Okay.
So I usually say, so everything, the 50% publishing, whatever it is that, that our creatives, can have, everything is still subject to negotiation.
Okay.
And everything is subject to, this is the way I want to do this. I understand that because most producers are always at the back end,
Yeah.
Sometimes they compromise. And it is not their fault that they compromise. They compromise because, the way the space is, one music can take you up there.
Yeah, that's very true.
Imagine where you have 2 producers, you have maybe like 1 artist and a featured artist. In most cases, the publishing share, you have to find a way to either share equally or share fairly. Then, I don't want any songwriter to wake up tomorrow and be giving me a headache. In some cases, we pay off.
But you see, I agree with everything you are saying. But recently, when we were having the City Business Festival, we were looking at the creative industry. And then we were in the creative forum, somebody asked a question. And I thought about it and I was like, wow, that's such a critical one. Because, most times these graphic designers, they design their logo for you and then you pay them off. Maybe initially he charges you, let's say, 1,000 Ghana cedis. You pay them off, he goes. Now, 50 years down the line, he sees the logo still reaping in benefits. It's like, so if I held a contract to this and be like, okay, if you use it for 10 years, after 10 years, I need to get this money. After 20 years, I need to get this money. He would have been a joke. Because a guy was telling us a story of how he has designed the logo for people 20 years ago. And the people are still benefiting from the logo today.
Yep.
And 20 years ago, probably he charged peanuts. But now, if he's designing a new logo for them, he would have been charging more. So I agree with what you're saying, but I feel like sometimes people also want to hold on to these contractual things because they also want to, be able to reap benefits from it because a song never dies. The lyrics are on forever and ever. But hey, if you tell me to go away, then, But Frankie, what are some of the obligations when it comes to this copyright things with artists and also the law? So just take us on a journey of, I've written a song. What do I need to do to be able to protect the song? Okay. What does it take to protect the song? And what does protecting the song even mean in the first place?
Okay, so I'll state again, like Kofi will always say, anytime you are inspired, begin to put your security cap on. Because the moment you get that inspiration, I had this thing in a dream, that is $1 billion stuff that God has given you. So but the moment you think about it, begin to think security. Hey, so which bank do I lock this money in? That should be your first level.
Okay.
Before you begin to even put the things and begin to think of which bank I go put this money, because you might not know that will be a monster hit for you and could be your break forever.
Yeah.
So the moment you think it, you think how to protect it. Start from the studio where you are recording it. Make sure that the work that you are doing is protected. The moment you write it, in fact, even sometime before you hit the studio, there's an office here called Copyright Office. If you have not heard it before,
Right in Ghana here?
In Ghana,
Charlie,
we have the
I really need to hear this.
you have the Copyright Office. The Copyright Office is empowered by the state and resourced by the Attorney General's office to protect you. Do you know that? You, the creator, regardless of who you are, whether you are a fashion designer, you are a painter, you are a sculptor, you are those things that you are creating, go and register it with the copyright administrator who sits in Accra here. Wow. That's your first level.
Even if we are expanding the conversation, because today we are mostly zeroing in on the
Music.
like the music
Let's stick to music.
But even if we are expanding it, the fashion designer can go protect their stuff.
Go and protect your stuff. That's
The
copyright.
sculptor can go protect their stuff.
Yes. So long as you're a creator, go there and protect your work.
Oh,
Protect
it's
it
now
in your
making
name.
sense how when the whole Wakanda thing came, the folklore board were like, why are they using our kente without us giving them the rights? But,
It's protected. Register with the copyright administrator, and that's your first layer. The moment you lock it, you are cool. Now you can now look at other avenues where when you lock, the revenues will begin to come in directly to you.
Okay.
But your bedrock in your home country is the Ghana Copyright Office. Go and lock up your work there. So when you create it, take it there. So I recall when I produced my first album in 2005, I took the CD, the inlay, where they write the number of songs, who produced it,
the credits,
the credits and everything. You take it there, and they take copies, and they write all, they let you spell out everybody, who was the engineer, who was the backing vocalist, who played the live guitar on it, who did that. They record everything there. And they will ask you, there are experts there, lawyers there. They will ask you for all those things and lock it there. So that's your first level as a music or an upcoming artist,
Creative.
you know, or a creative. That's your first level. Before you even think about the global, where Kofi & Co will plug you to the SASEMs and all those big platforms to begin to look at the global picture of it as well. So that is the level you must go. And the cycle comes back when it turns into money. And then you begin to expand.
All right. So I have some lyrics like Eko is the bad boy. He's going to be a global hit, right? Eko is the bad boy. He's going to be a global hit. It's regular English that everybody can speak and say. Now, if I protect it, does it then mean that anybody that uses Eko is a bad boy, and confidence to you, Eko is a bad boy, he's going to be a global hit? Anybody that uses it in a song has to seek my permission before they use it?
Yes and no, and here's why.
Okay.
There are a few things that would usually be considered for it to be considered somebody's copyrighted work. It must have originality.
Originality, okay.
Secondly, it must be fixated or it must be expressed in a tangible form.
Okay.
That is actually the first layer of copyright protection. If I have a song idea in my head and I do not write it out on a piece of paper or record it on my phone or go to the studio, it's difficult to argue that I have such and such an idea. So when you express it in a tangible form that people can actually see or hear, it is already copyrighted, but that can be contested, which is why what Frank said was very important. So number one, originality.
Yeah.
Number two, it has to be fixated in a tangible form, right? Now, once it meets that criteria, it gives me the right to use exclusively, to distribute, and to profit from it. And in that same vein, I can now license it to somebody for a number of years. That's where the graphic design thing came.
Okay.
You see the question you asked.
Yeah.
It's called licensing. It means it's somebody's creative expression, and the person says, even though it's my work, for X amount of money, you are able to use it for X amount of time or years, after which you come back to me, we renegotiate. So usually it lasts for the entire duration of the creator's lifespan, and then 70 years after their death. So if we make a piece of work, 3 of us contribute to make this art form.
Yes.
And all of us dies, or 2 persons died, 2 out of the 3 creators die, and 1 person is surviving. That 70 years doesn't kick in until the last surviving contributor or author of that work passes on.
Does it mean that after 70 years, I can pick it and use it and nobody has anything on me?
Usually, yes. It will go into
Public
domain, yes.
All right. Now, there is this recently, a very popular case that happened with the Ghanaian industry. So,
there are always cases happening.
That's what I'm saying, the gospel industry.
Diffie.
Right. The popular Diffie. So we had, for me, I know that song. I didn't even know the artist, but I knew like there was, and everything. And then recently we had Tim Eternity. Beautiful song. I mean, I won't take anything away from them. But then the producer came and was like, oh, no, they've taken my song and everything. Now, a lot of people, and I'm saying this, I want you guys to clarify this for education purposes. A lot of people are saying, number one, oh, Defe is a term that we use in our daily parlance, so nobody owns it, number one, which is why I asked the question I asked earlier. Then number 2, they said, Hallelujah chorus says, so they took out a bonsam, so it is not, I don't want to call it theft. It is not, is it interpolation? It doesn't qualify for that. Now, can you educate people on what were the things that they did wrong, and what were the things that they did right, and did they really pick from that?
That's Kofi's field.
You know, interestingly, I never really followed the fact of the case, so I can't speak much on it. However, context is also very important. Okay, cadence and how it was sung. You understand? But unfortunately, you know, in the gospel fraternity, because we have this idea that Iradi Juma, we easily overlook a lot of these things. You understand? But it's somebody's work.
All right.
Okay. So if I will enter that side, you see that song by Hallelujah Voices, until that song became a hit in Ghana, then that popularization of that phrase came.
Oh, okay.
What phrase? Diffie.
So,
good. So they expressed it in tangible form and registered it in that format. So that progression that you went to pick and you put in that song, so he can contest it. Because legally, he has assigned those things to himself and the artist.
Okay.
Now, the simple thing, and in fact, Tim Eternity knows this, the easiest thing you could have done, because you know that thing, it exists. If somebody, you join phrase that, at least, if you don't, you know, just ask. Because I remember when I was managing No Tribe, this song, Obidia Seda Peppa, Obidia, it's Uncle Ato.
Oh,
that's his creation.
Worship song like that.
Yes. That's Uncle Ato's creation. But in your mind, you may think that you were all that. No, it's Uncle Ato's creation. He's alive. So we went to him in his house before he gave his blessing to No Tribe that you can use and reproduce it. Before Nasi and Lord picked it up and it became a big hit. But even that, we still wrote check and gave him. And then he gave his blessing. So you can do that. It's a gospel space. You can use it, but go and seek the blessing of the person who created it.
All right.
Don't take it for granted. But legally, the person has registered with Copyright Office.
All right.
It's just like you buying a new car. With a fence. With the wires on the fence. I come one night, come and cut the fence. jump over your wall, enter
Because
your
you
house.
like the car.
Because I love the car. That's how it is. So the way you are saying it.
Yeah.
Because I love the BMW. It was red. I love it. Jump the wall, go inside, cut the fence, go and take the key, start the car and start driving because you love it. How do I call you if I catch you?
He's a thief. You're a thief.
You are saying it now.
All right, but sometimes, when it comes to this whole copyright conversation also, when I seek your permission to use it, can it just be, is word of mouth enough to go ahead and use it? Or we need to put it into contract? And I don't know if Tope is still with us, but of course he's a lawyer, he would know more about this. But is word of mouth enough?
Word of mouth is usually considered a binding agreement. However, you need to prove it. If we agree in principle, we have a gentleman's agreement,
Yeah.
and I say something is so, you go ahead, you do it, and I come back and I say, I didn't mean it, or you're lying. I didn't give my consent. The crux is on you to prove it,
Proof.
to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
So paper is very important. Contracts.
Yeah.
In fact, it's one of the key things we were covering yesterday. We had a publishing workshop and we're stressing on the importance of contracts. You know, a lot of creatives shy away from paperwork.
Yeah.
But I keep telling people, if you and I have a mutual agreement and we capture exactly what we've mutually agreed
Yeah.
on paper, and I refuse to sign, then I have ulterior motives.
Yeah.
Clearly. You understand? So you should try find out why, I'm refusing to sign,
Yeah.
or you walk away.
Oh.
Because that's definitely an accident waiting to happen. It's
Sure.
just a matter of time.
So you would always go for contract.
Or absolutely. That's why in music we always talk about split sheets.
Split sheets.
The
People
splits
always
are
want to run
very,
away
very-
from it.
I even tell people you need to discuss splits even before you enter the studio.
Wow.
And you amend the splits
Yeah.
once the song is finished and all parties agree
Yeah.
that we like this finished
song.
version of the song. You should update the splits.
Ah, interesting.
I remember those days when Slip, Honorable Marco Krikumante, salute,
Yeah.
one of the great producers ever lived. Lord Kenya, Sikabapa,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
all
Morning
those
Girl.
hits. That is Marco Krikumante's signature. It's not Lord Kenya. He, like he said, he directed the sound.
Yeah.
Put this here, put that there.
Yeah.
The lyrics, do it this way, do it that way. That's Marco Krikumante.
Oh, okay.
So all the back to back to back that you enjoyed,
Yeah.
it's Mark.
Oh.
But who performed it? Lord Kenya.
Lord Kenya.
But Mark's name doesn't get mentioned. But
Yeah.
he did the right thing though. Up to now, Lord Kenya cannot own it because he owns it. Slip Music owns it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm learning so much today because we've always had this mindset like, oh, producer I need that's what about beats, and no asa. Now we move on. But then again, even the executive producer
Yeah.
also has a right to the song.
Yeah.
So in music, you would have two rights.
Yeah.
There's the
Mechanical.
the mechanical or the composition,
Yeah.
and the sound recording or the master.
Okay.
Okay, so you and I may write a song, and we record that first version of a song. He might record a cover or another version of that song. It's the same composition.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's one right.
Yes.
Or one copyright.
Yeah.
But two different expressions of that same or singular copyright for a different sound recording.
From the
So
original source.
From the original recording, right? So it's like, I'm trying to think of a song that was redone. Let's say The Sound of Music,
Yeah.
or Afran Kojo Ntwi song,
Yeah.
right? Or
Stoneboy,
Oh,
and
Dr.
Chef Ansabel.
Dr.
Yeah.
Pabobo.
Yeah.
Dr. Pablo, yes.
Dr. Pabobo.
Yeah.
So the composition is what it is.
Yeah.
We all know that song. But he redid it in his own way to create a new sound recording
Yeah.
of a pre-existing composition copyright.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So the executive producer is usually the one who takes ownership of the masters or the sound recording
The
or
originals.
The master.
the recording
Yeah.
of the composition.
Of the
So he who pays, usually
Yeah.
in most copyright laws, the person who pays
Yeah.
to facilitate the creation of the song owns the expression of that song.
Yeah.
Not the composition, the sound recording.
All right. But I just want to know this. You see, sometimes, and this was one of the stories I heard from one of the artists. He had picked the sound, recorded his song and everything. I was like, oh, and I met the guy on a flight and I played it. I was like, oh, Bosu, I have sampled your song also, and I played it to you. And then he was like, oh, okay, it's okay, it's okay. What would be your advice to a young creative out there who is probably right now in the studio watching the chat and he's now going to sample somebody's song? Should he go ahead and sample and interact with the person later? Or he should seek the permission before he goes ahead to sample?
Okay, so the use of the word sample. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
The use of the word sample is a very specific term.
Okay.
Okay, so I did mention you have the composition
Yeah.
of the song itself. That's the lyrics, the beats, the melody.
Yeah.
And then there's the recording
Yeah.
of all of that
Okay.
that you are either streaming or playing from a CD or whatever. Sampling means you've taken that recording as is and you've
As it
chopped
is.
it up and put it in another song.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So a classic example might be, I'm trying to think of a popular one in Ghana, sampling. So there are two similar,
So would
yet different.
Kwame Eugene's will it qualify as sampling?
Yes, that's sampling. That's an old song. You remember that rhythm?
Akosombo Kania.
Akosomo, George Dako and
Did he actually chop it up or he actually sang it again?
Okay.
Because
so,
I'm trying to make a distinction
Yeah.
between sampling and interpolation.
Okay. So when you listen to the song, you hear the bass lines of George Dako's
Akosomo Kania.
Echo Tibrofo.
Okay.
And then Akosombo Kania also, you hear like that's what I'm saying. So for me, right,
Okay,
you
but-
are neck deep into it.
So they recreated the beats
Yes.
and played it
The
so
bass.
that it's reminiscent as the original.
Okay, I don't know if they played it because it could be that they also picked it and then they just reused. I wouldn't have
Very,
the-
very likely they replayed it again in,
Okay.
in
It
the
was
studio.
replayed,
It was
the,
replayed.
but the bass lines and everything was the same.
was the
It
same.
was the same.
The progression.
The
and
progression
everything
was the same.
But it was in a new song.
It was in a new
Yes.
song. Yeah.
That's an interpolation, not sampling. That
Okay.
is called an interpolation. That was the difference I was trying to explain.
Okay.
Sampling means he actually took the Akosombo Kania song, chopped the parts that he liked, and embedded it in his beat again.
Okay, so now
Interpolation
what
means
Kim Promise's recent favorite story, because when it started pa-da-da, pa, pa-da-da, pa, pam, 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 then it goes to his beat. Would that qualify as sampling?
That's sampling.
I don't think I've heard that.
That's
Oh, okay,
sampling.
favorite story. Try and listen to favorite
That's-
story.
that's
You
sampling.
would like it. I don't know if I can be able to.
That's sampling. But you see, in all these, you
yeah.
still need permission. Like you are saying. Don't go and do it before you come and tell me, the original owner, that
Right.
Bosu at the back, I got inspired
By you.
and I've gone to,
You are my legend.
you go sell your whole family property to pay. Don't make
Because
that
there's a
mistake.
difference. There's a difference in the chain of command or the types of permission you need.
Okay.
There's a distinction between the permission you need to seek when you're sampling and when you are interpolating. Because
Okay.
when you're interpolating, you don't necessarily have to pay the owner of the sound recording or the master because you are taking the
a
inherent
new song.
Yes. So it's the composers
That you have
whose
to
perm-
pay.
Yes.
Okay.
Sampling, however, you're paying the two people. So if it's
composer?
owned by a label, you need the label's permission.
Oh.
And then you also need the consent of the composers as well. So it's double layered. Yeah.
But when some of these things happen, yeah, can you just before we go? I mean, we are getting to the end of this going. How much are we looking at when somebody falls into this ditch of taking someone's work, using it without seeking the person's permission?
Oh,
How much are we looking at?
there have been landmark cases,
Yeah.
local and abroad. It is my work.
Yeah,
So I can choose
to place
put
the
them-
value.
Yes.
Oh. So if I go to court and I say, "Oh, this one I want 1 million for it,"
Or there have been cases outside our space where the original copyright owner said, I'll take 100% of every dime you make from that song.
So literally, you've done the song for them again.
For free. Monkey they work, baboon they chop. And they can get away with it. In fact, in most cases, especially if it's a high-profile artist, and I mean, people on these major labels who usually have this this really tough Jewish lawyers.
Yeah.
When they start negotiating, they start from 100%.
Before they come down.
Yes.
And surely you won't get to 50%.
If you're lucky. ABBA are noted for that. You know the group ABBA?
ABBA, yeah.
Yeah, a number of people sampled or interpolated their stuff. They took 100%.
So one small.
So the more you're
not
selling
saying
CDs,
Yeah.
if it be 10 songs for top,
Yeah.
for consider say it be 9 songs per day top, they go collect you.
And if that one song to become the hit, that means it's
Or
gone.
then take some do Jay-Z. He has a song, Show Me What You Got.
Yeah.
Show Me What You Got, Little
Yeah.
Mama.
Uh-huh.
They sampled 3 different songs on there. And when they were trying to clear it, so a producer did his bit, but incorporated samples and interpolations of 3 different songs. Now the label went to clear the song.
Yeah.
Each of the owners of each of the composition asked for 100%. And they said, guys, this is actually one of the landmark singles on this album.
Yeah.
And we have other samples we need to clear. We can't do 100%. So they negotiated, then each one settled for 33.3333.
Oh,
So Jay-Z doesn't get paid on that song.
So
The producer doesn't get paid on that song. The performers who performed on the song don't get paid on that song.
Crazy.
wow. Anyways, what we advise to your young creatives out there before we go? Your advice to young creatives out there, because it looks like, and
Oh, so he never performs it live.
oh,
He never performs
and
it
can
live.
they place like embargo on you from performing it? Like you
Oh,
cannot
if
perform
you
it.
perform it live,
Yeah.
the money them pay
They
you,
come to you. So for
It is.
take out.
They go divide them and collect them and shit.
Your advice to your creatives, Funky, before we go, I mean.
My advice to
Yeah.
every young creative practitioner
Yeah.
listening to me this evening:
Yeah.
stop giving out your God-given talent for free. You are endowed
Yeah.
to make $1 million from that simple creation of work, piece of work. You have no idea. You are very rich. You are talented. So begin to think copyright. That is where the money is. So when you inspired, when the moment you get the inspiration,
Yeah.
think protection.
All right. Kofi, I mean, your final words before we go.
My big brother Frank has said it all. I think if you take a lot of these things for granted, you're not just doing yourself a disservice, but you're doing future generations a disservice. Because like I said, it lasts for the duration of the creator's entire lifespan or lifetime, and then 70 years after their death.
Yeah.
So it's legacy we are talking about, and not too many things appreciated, over time. We just have certain natural resources like land, maybe certain precious stones, precious metals. Everything depreciates over time.
Sure.
But intellectual property does have the ability to appreciate
over
in value over time. So I don't think it's something we need to take for granted.
All right.
Because if you're a creative person, for you to build a legacy, you need to understand and leverage your inherent intellectual property so that you can turn it into capital.
Great. Thank you very much, Frankie. Thank you very much, Kofi. And also to you, Tope, for, making this conversation worthwhile. And to the young creatives out there, for me, my final advice to you is this. When you are creating your stream of income, create one for copyright. Because surely somebody will take your work and you can make money out of it. We'll go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we have Fifi Coleman for you right here on the chat. Stick and stay.